How's it going, guys? I'm here today to unveil the first draft of my Mod 22 single target tank build. I would say fighter, but it's going to look pretty similar on all three of my tanks, so you can apply it kinda to any of them, it says. This build is what I'm going into the trial with, and it's pretty much going to do exactly what I want it to do, which is buff the team, hold threat on the boss, and take enough damage to not die. I would say this would work for any of the trial content you're trying to get done, whether it be Tower the Mad Mage, Zariel, or Demogorgon, as well as the new Mod 22 trial. Now, unfortunately, in the making of this build, I was unpleasantly reminded that building a tank isn't necessarily fun in this game, easily. Anything you want to do to make playing a tank more enjoyable for yourself is very welcome, including scrapping this entire build and doing whatever else you want to do. Maybe you want to get more damage out, or just become an unkillable god. I would say you could easily build like that in this mod. First couple of things here is this is using an active companion, not an augment, so I'll be getting a lot less rating than some of you guys looking at doing an augment build, trading that out for the options of all the active companion powers, buffs and debuffs I can switch between for content. You got your Lion, your Spine Devil, your Dritz-Do'Urden, your Brunor, whatever other companions that give you good support bonuses you can slot in here. I didn't want to be tied down to a single augment for all my stats on this build, so it can be flexible. But I'll do an augment build video down the line as well for anyone who just wants the best they can do for themselves. The next thing is, as you can see, I am a Dro, as I do think this is the best possible race you can play on a support class, purely for the Darkfire debuff the race has. Menzo is an alternative for the Fairy Fire debuff, and other than that you can pick whatever you wish, like a Dwarf or Aasimar would be the best for pure stats for a tank. And before I forget, my ability scores are all into Constitution and Charisma, mainly for the HP bonus and the recharge speed from those. I'll show you the stats I've got here, and it's definitely nothing pretty. It's just not great to look at at all, nothing special going on, no fancy green numbers or 90% while I'm just standing here hanging out. But you know what? It's still going to work, trust me. When I'm in combat in this build, we are still hitting our capped defense and awareness, and we have over 1 million HP up here. And then the other defensive stats I've not worried about too much. Maybe I get my ass beat by Valindra and the dragon, and I'll take all this back. You guys can come laugh at me when I do my super tank build that's coming up in the future, but at the rate this game's content has gone, I'm not too worried about what she's going to dish out with these stats. Notice here I'm at 71k item level, which as you may know means that I am not using a bunch of new stuff on my build. In fact, I'll show you this disappointment right here. There it is in all its glory. Not a single new gear piece in sight. Isn't that just a sorry looking character page? I was really looking forward to the new gear this mod, you know, and although there is more stuff to come later on, I know that, the start of this mod is a big flop for building characters. So my initial thoughts video, just scrap that whole thing, it's redacted. There's really not a single thing that caught my eye for the fighter, which is pretty disappointing, but I am keeping in mind here there'll be more gear coming. The mythic gear and stuff, I'll take a look at it as it comes out and hopefully get some better upgrades on here, like the recharge speed arms, for example. For the things I'm using, there's going to be a lot of debating on what I'm using here and thinking some of this is questionable, and honestly, some of it is, so don't worry. I have reasons. As I go through the gear, I'll let you know, even if some of the gear isn't anything special. Working through in a sort of order here, we've got the helmet, which is the Sky Blazer from the T3 hunts in Avernus, just for the combat advantage for more threat gen. It was either this or the main of the Manticore for the Manticore bite bonus, which is still great for tanks, but since I have the ring on, I went for the CA. All the armor kits on these pieces are just for stat balancing, so you can see what I've got on as we go through. The chest piece is the old classic awareness group chest piece from Sharandar, which is what will get me to that 90% awareness when I'm in combat. Nothing much more to say about this. The arms is another weird choice here, because I'm only using these because they are still bugged and give you that defense if just one person is far away from you. That will work for the new trial since there's a giant boss, but if they didn't work, I'd have to honestly go for this little guy on the helmet for the defense, the Mysterious Merchant piece, and for the arms, I would maybe put back on these Midnight Grips, which I quite like as well. These arms, I believe, are a T2 hunt in Avernus, and these are from the Voss mini-bosses. And here we are, the classic Mastercraft weapons. Oh, what a shame we are still waiting for the new Mastercraft weapons. I'm not sure why I've been picking up a bunch of reagents from Sharandar just to not get the recipes again this mod, but thinking about it, even when we get them, will it be worth upgrading since these still have the old artifact mods on them? That's a good question for a future video. But anyway, you guys know why I'm using these things. Damage buff, simply. Still rocking these bad boys. I love these boots. I hope they never give me something better. Give me that random 20% HP so that Ava has to heal more to get me back to full. Pick yourself up a pair of these at the Nike store in Avernus. Vistani set from Barovia, 5% debuff on the boss and I'm hitting this sweet power right here, or this sweeter daily right here. Yeah, it's old, yeah, it's musty, but I'm old and musty, and so is the content in the game, so we can all just be old and crusty and musty together. Maybe I'll put on the new set just for a laugh when I get it from the campaign. If you're on a Paladin, you're probably better off with the Apocalypse set as long as somebody else in the group isn't running it. Manticore main bite ring right here. If you haven't got the one from Vault of Stars, you could use the old leather ring from Tom, or you could use the Manticore main helmet from Chul if you want to go back to the jungle. Band of Air, big old damage, big old threat, and if you're at endgame, you should be familiar with the grind to get these bad boys from hardcore Vault of Stars. Get in there and get grinding. Still wearing these old rusty ass relics right here. These things are literally falling apart. They've been worn for years and years without washing them, but you know what? They've served us well. And as long as they have this bonus here, giving those extra damage hits when we deflect, we'll keep rocking these bad boys. Get yourself a set of Everfrost shirt and pants from the Storm King's Thunder campaign. The main artifact slot is always reserved for a debuff artifact. This thing can change between any of these options and more when you're in content. I had a bit of a debate on my artifact choices in these spare slots here, and there's a lot of choices you can do for these and for the artifact set, to be honest. And there's another video that I'm probably going to do soon about these artifact sets and your neck and belt sets. Here I went with 2 stamina artifacts to negate the loss of our Elven Battles or our Eclipse enchants, and these artifacts got buffed this mod along with, I think, all of them, even the new ones. That 15% stamina gain is a big chunk there, which I thought I'd try out as something a bit different to the usual max defense stats method. So there's the gear page, pretty old and musty all around here, but like I said, it'll get the job done either way. Onto the enchants page, and oh, just ignore my temporary offense enchants right there. No, but seriously, they'll be gone in a week and I'll replace them all with power or combat advantage, whatever's lower on my stats page, and we can act like this never happened. These guys right here are 3 amethyst enchants for the awareness rating and 1 garnet for the defense. Another garnet down here for forte because it's either this or incoming healing. And I figured more forte is more defense and crit avoid, which is less health lost that Ava has to heal anyway. Right here, I have forsaken my sacred vows to movement speed for recharge because recharge speed is my cheeky side piece, and I'll see how much of a slug I am in the trial before I switch back. More recharge speed equals more uptime, and who doesn't love uptime, am I right, people? The man himself, the flash freeze right here. If you want to hear more about that, check out my video on the combat enchants for the tank. My overloads up here will probably be the Help Hit guys, the Bulwark for the HP, and the damage reduction one. I save these for a rainy day when there's really hard content to do, so they haven't been out of the house in a while. Next you type in your bio right here and then we'll move on to the appearance. And I'll just leave this here for a second. Okay, now powers on the fighter is pretty much the same stuff here. I'm actually forcing myself to use Threatening Rush since I know it's so good for threat. If I can still swing not using it with how low my item level is compared to others, I'll go back to using Brazen Slash or something for the single target, because nothing is worse than watching my character go through this animation for a whole trial fight. Shield Throw, your absolute best threat ability ever made, Enforced Threat for the awareness reduction, and Line Breaker to proc the Vistani set, or otherwise you could go with KV for massive threat, or Iron Warrior for damage resistance, which I always like to use as well. Second Wind and Earthshaker on my bar here, mainly Second Wind, and then Earthshaker just in case I really need another Vistani proc. Greater Endurance because of course movement speed, and Steel Recovery for the stamina regen. Boons page is pretty self-explanatory for the most part, it's just put boons into everything since we have so many, and then use the guild boons to balance stats. I have power, awareness, and more movement speed. For companions, we have the Lion here, which you could swap out for any of the support companions, but I'll stick with this one to steal all the Band of Air damage for myself, just kidding. Never taking off Armor Break here, since someone's got to run it, and who are the tanks but the heavy lifters, if you know what I mean. The companion pieces are from the Sharandar bounties, which have equal parts defense, crit avoid, and awareness between the 3 of them. This actually made a lot less difference than I thought they would. I always forget how little they mean now. For the companion bonuses, I have the Owl in the utility slot for the HP and awareness, Brunor and the Frost Mimic for the defense and awareness in the universal slots. In the offense slot, I have the Golden Deep Crow for the full awareness, and then the one newcomer to the build here, the saving grace of the mod, the Lich Companion, with this 7.5% reduced incoming damage. I had to work a little bit harder to get the build right with this guy taking away 7.5% stats, but I believe in this guy. For my mounts page, of course, the boreworm appearance, the classic bat swarm for the mount power, but this is a flexible spot as well. You've got so many other options in this one. You've got the cauldron, you've got the T-Rex, the eclipse lion, the boulette, the Pegasus mount, the hot air balloons, the Rhymefire salamander. I'm sure I'm missing some on here, but any of them are great for group content. 4k defense on the equip power again, just for stat balancing. Now this next page is going to look really dumb, but bear with me please. I really didn't want to get 2 sets of mythic insignias, so I just got all DPS insignias and I figured the tank will be able to work with them. So this is a whole bunch of dominances for the power and forte. I don't actually know if I even need these on a finished DPS build yet, I'll find that out soon, but for now we're doing it. I still got the right bonuses, we'll be okay. Of course, on a really optimized build, you can get fortitudes or evasions in these slots for your defensive stats. There's a lot you can do here. The bonuses really need updating soon, desperately, since this is the best we've got for tanks pretty much. Some people like using the healing ones, but I'm not worried about getting healed, I have faith. So I go with the triple gladiators, the artificers just for more powers in artifact phases, and Magistrate's Patience for that crit avoid and the defense for the team. Collars are movement speed, encounter power damage, stamina gain, recharge speed, and bonus rough ass. The very last thing before I leave you guys with this build to ponder on is the consumables. I am of course using the Chain of Scales for the awareness percentage and the Sambicade for the movement speed. Caprizi for deflect and HP because I have a lot of it, and the event foods are sort of rarer these days. The elixir is Steadfast Devotion. I like this one for the awareness. And then the crafted defense potions. I could also use the deflect ones if someone's using Runic Aura to make up that bit of defense for me. Then just grab yourself a stack of Invocation Blessings and spam them until you see a picture that you like. So that's it for my single target build for the start of this mod. Yes, it's old. Yes, it might be weird. No, I'm not using Cragscaler gauntlets. But also, yes, it will get the job done and get me and you through some of the wonderful content that's been lovingly delivered to the game for us. Stay safe everyone, and thanks for watching.